Sean Fitzgerald from the dugout in Durban North. This is Trend News. Interesting article. John Bopape feels like a snake. He's turning into a snake, this gentleman. For 25 years he had some kind of disease. Started with a pimple on his arm, and now he's covered with this scales or like stuff on his skin. And he actually says he feels like a snake. He fears what snakes fear. And yeah, he's actually, for 25 years, like I said, he's been living with this problem. So let's have a look at the article. Okay, here's the article from the Daily Skin. My skin turned me into a snake. For 25 years, John Bopape has lived with a terrible burden that seems to have no end. The poor man cannot stop itching. It keeps leaving him scratching his whole body day and night. His skin has become so scarred that John now calls himself the human snake. And he said he said he becomes just as restless as a snake when it gets hot, and he feels confused and unsettled. He's tried sleeping on the floor, but it doesn't help. Since 1990, my whole body is like that of a snake. I feel things the way a snake feels, and I fear things feared by snakes, like hot weather. He doesn't know how he ended up this way. It started with a simple pimple on his arm. He was itching and he just kept scratching, and it grew and spread all over his body. The interesting here, he said he's so ashamed of himself, no woman wants to associate with him. I used to have a woman in my life, but now as soon as they see my body, they run away. Shame, man. It broke my heart so many times. You know, he's so upset about this. Growing up, I used to dream of having a beautiful wife and many children. Now I don't see that happening because of my skin. He's tried many different hospitals and clinics, but they never, they don't help him. He's done blood tests. So Gorma said to him, he should drink. He will give him an Imbiza to drink, and muti to bathe him with. In a short period, he should feel a difference. But what? That's a Sangoma. Mr. Mpu is a doctor. He says he has psoriasis, like a widespread psoriasis. I'm thinking, what do they call that? That's eczema. So similar to like eczema, where it affects the skin, and your skin keeps peeling off and it never heals. Anyway, Mpu said he needs to see a specialist physician or dermatologist, but I suggest the same thing, because he can confirm that it is psoriasis. And I think it looks like a little bit of eczema. So there's old John, man. He's had a terrible life. I can imagine how sore this must be for him. The funny thing is, he says he's beginning to feel like a snake, and he's also beginning to do things. Yeah, interesting article, John. I really feel sorry for him. It must be terrible. He must be in a lot of pain. He's lived with this for 20 years. What I find most interesting about this article, though, is how powerful the human mind is. The fact that he believes he's a snake, and now he's starting to fear things that snake fears, and he's starting to go where snakes go, like where it's cooler. He's not liking the heat, and this shows you how powerful the mind is. Your mind starts to believe you are something, and you start to become it. So yeah, this was an interesting article. I hope he gets better. I hope he finds the solution to his problems, and let's wish him well. Sean Fitzgerald from Trend News in the Dugout. This is Trend News. If you like this video, please subscribe and leave your comments and suggestions. Thank you very much.